Facebook.com, WLFR FM. We're on Twitter, Twitter.com, WLFR917. We are also on Instagram. Okay, we have here at WLFR Studios live in person on this program right now, Mr. Teddy Royal, and he is one of the truly great and magnificent musicians in this world. He has had such an illustrious career, and I'm so proud and honored to have him on this program. And Teddy, okay, your mic is on. You want to say hello?
Hello.
Welcome to the Eclectic Journey. I'm so pleased and proud to have you here and honored to have you here.
I'm very blessed to be here. And I thank you, Mark, for having me.
You are welcome. And it is an honor and a thrill. Just before we get started, before we dig into your music, give the listeners maybe you want to give them a taste of where you've been, what you've done musically in your life.
In my life, okay. I did a lot of traveling and a lot of recordings. I recorded with a group from Tampa, Florida, called the Hearts of Stones. They were originally, before they became the Hearts of Stones, was the Four Pennies. And then once upon a time, they were the Five Pennies. Carl Cutler is from Philadelphia. Lindsey Griffin from Tampa, Florida. Floyd Lawson from Tampa, Florida. And John Myers from Tampa, Florida. We recorded in Detroit when Motown used to be in Detroit. I also recorded with Dorothy Moore, Misty Blue, Malaco Studios in Jackson, Mississippi. Tommy Couch was the president of the company. I did a lot of things with King Floyd and also wrote some tunes on the album that he recorded in Jackson, Mississippi at Malaco Studios. The name of the album was called Well Done. And I also recorded with Staple Singers. And I recorded with Lou Rawls, Wonderful Woman, and the Patti LaBelle, Phoenix album, and also with Alan Toussaint. I did a lot of things.
And, of course, the one and only Fats
Domino. Yeah. Actually, when Fats Domino was going overseas, before he went overseas, they flew us to Las Vegas to record with Clint Eastwood. And the name of the album was called Any Which Way You Can and Any Which Way But Loose with Clint Eastwood. And that was done in Las Vegas. And then after that, we went to Europe. But Fats Domino was like a father to me. And we would sit up at night at his house, 1208 Catherine. That was the Lower Ninth Ward. And Fats one time called me, and in the band, there was Irvin Charles was a bass player with Fats's band, and he had passed away, Irvin Charles. And Fats called me up one time and said to me, "You can play the bass, right?" And I said, "No." I called him boss because, if I called him by his name, Fats, he always said to me, "You want something from me." So I called him boss, which he was like a father to me anyway. But anyway, he says, "Well, why don't I fly you down?" And I said, "Well, boss, if you fly me down in a month's time before your engagement come up, I will learn all your songs on bass, and I'll be ready to play your show." And he did.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm blown away. I mean, and I'm trying to describe what it feels like to hear you tell a story, a true story such as that, about one of the greatest musicians / singers of our time. Let me ask you, and I don't mean to digress, you mentioned Motown.
Motown, when they were in Detroit.
Right. What do you remember most about being there at Motown Records?
It was a very exciting experience because if you didn't have a reason to be there, you wasn't allowed to get in the building.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You had to know who you was coming to see, and it was Hank Crosby was the Hearts and Stones producer in Motown. And Stop the World, We Want to Get On was the name of the album, as I have here. And I also recorded with the Wild Chapatulas in New Orleans and the Wild Magnolias. And Dorothy Moore, Misty Blue. And Alan Toussaint, like I said, and James Rivers was a saxophone player in New Orleans. And I did a lot of things, you know.
I'll say, you know what, and what you've mentioned to me, the names and of the artists that you've worked with throughout all these years. I mean, that's probably maybe a quarter of people like that who you've performed and played with over your life.
I also traveled many places over in Europe, and I've seen a lot.
I'll bet. I'll bet. That's all I have to say.
I performed in my own right in the UK, in Soho, and also performed in Piccadilly Circus in the UK. I played at the Pizza Express in Ronnie Scott's, and my manager, Gudrun Francina, flew Hank Crawford over for 2 weeks to play with me on my show at the Pizza Express. As you know, Hank Crawford was one great jazz musician, and it was a pleasure to work with him. He was there with me for about 2 weeks, and this was after they had brought Fats Domino's sidemen to London to also work with me. And I had a great time.
I'll bet you did. I'll bet it was great. I would have liked to have been there. If I was probably so high, I guess, when this took place. Okay. I do want to continue your musical history, but before that, how about we get into some of your own music first? This is from, I have a CD in my hand, Teddy Royal, and the name of the album is called Royal Blue. You want to talk about that before I get into playing some cuts?
Okay, well, Royal Blue was discovered by my manager because she says, well, why don't we just call it Royal Blue since your last name is Royal? And I says, great. And before Royal Blue came out, she created a record label because she didn't have a record label. So one of my tunes was called Morning Groove, and she named the record label Morning Groove. And actually, every time I would go to London, England, I would always be in the room writing my music. And they were all personal. Especially Serenade.
Right. And yes, I see the track here. Yeah. It's listed, Serenade.
Yeah. This was before she passed away.
Do you want to play that first?
Please.
Okay. All right. All right, folks, without further ado, the incomparable Teddy Royal. This track is called Serenade, and let's take a listen. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I so enjoyed that. The musicianship on there was just, that was top of the mountain. You want to talk about the musicians who play with you?
Henry Butler, great piano player and organ player. Theodore Rogers, great musician. The musicians that's on that CD, they were all, it was recorded at Sound Studio in New Orleans. I mean, the musicians were great. there was a lot of love happening there, and togetherness, because I had my music together when I left England to come to New Orleans, to meet my manager in New Orleans to record, and these musicians was handpicked.
Now, did you pick them all by yourself? I mean,
yes,
really,
yes. I knew. Well, actually, by me getting Henry Butler, I had to get some good musicians to play. Because, I mean, Henry Butler was like, hey, man, if you play a wrong note or you do anything wrong, he's going to tell you. So, I mean, that's how we were down in New Orleans, and it was a great session,
if you're just tuning in, you're listening to 91.7 WLFR Pomona at the Stockton University. This is Mark Grossman. I am your host, and it's another edition of the Eclectic Journey. Live with me in WLFR studios is the incomparable and truly great guitar player. His name is Teddy Royal, and he is talking to us about his incredible musical life, career. Although it's not really a career to you; it's a passion. It's your life, and he has told us some fascinating stories about being in the studio and being on the road and being over in Europe as a musician. Like I said, this is it's like finding gold. Let me ask you, now you were talking about England a little while ago.
England was one of a place that I wouldn't mind living there, because my manager lived in Hampstead, and it was a great place. I mean, I would go there most of the time. I was there, and I just enjoyed the scenery because it's a very old-looking town. Well, I wouldn't say town, but country. But in the area where she was living was really nice, and that's where I wrote a lot of my own compositions in England. And she was a beautiful person,
And I'm so sorry for your loss there.
Yeah, but in spirit, she's with me.
Sure.
I got to see a lot of things in England, and got to meet a lot of friends and a lot of great musicians in England.
Now, what were these years exactly? What are we
from 70? I mean, I would say 76, 77, 78, and 79.
Right.
Those were great years for me because she was not only my lady, but she was my manager, and she was everything that a musician could ever have. And she believed in doing the right thing, and she did my CD. She recorded all three of my CDs before she had passed away. The first one was called Morning Groove, SP 1001. And my second CD was Keep On Moving On, it was SP 1002. And my third CD was called Royal Blue, SP 1003. And
right. And, of course, that was the album we were just listening to. Yeah. If the audience, if you were listening, again, you're listening to The Eclectic Journey, 91.7 FM, WLFR, Pomona. And if you're just tuning in, the great Teddy Royal is here live in our studio. And he is my very, very special guest today. I'm so honored to have him. Let me ask you, going back to Europe, the audiences there, and including England, especially England, they're very appreciative of the type of music that you have done throughout your career?
Oh man, Pete King, Peter King. I'm sorry. He was the manager of the Pizza Express. Playing in England was a place that people appreciated jazz musicians and their music. And it was never like when you're playing usually in a nightclub or at a theater, people be talking while the music's playing. There was none of that because they would announce it before you even start playing too. There's no talking.
Sure.
While the music's going on, and I really enjoyed that because it made me feel that I was welcome and appreciated, and my music was appreciated very much.
I will say this, and I know you know this, but blues and jazz artists over in Europe, they are treated so much. I was going to use the word differently. I'm trying to think of another word, but it's like they're put on a pedestal and they're treated like kings and queens over there.
The reason why they're treated that way is because it's very often that they do get a musician from another country to come and play. When I was there, I met Zeppelin. He came when I was at the Pizza Express. He came in with his manager and also the people that at Ronnie Scott's, the owner of Ronnie Scott's. This was after, Peter King came in with Led Zeppelin. And because Hank Crawford was on my show with me there in Soho. And they wanted to find out what I was about and to see Hank Crawford playing because Hank Crawford just left Ronnie Scott's with Jimmy McGriff.
Really?
Yeah. So
wow.
Hank Crawford was with me for 2 weeks at the Pizza Express in Soho. See, and at the time my manager was living then, and it was packed. It was very packed, and it was a great show. I enjoyed the experience actually playing with Hank Crawford because he was a legend.
Sure. And Jimmy McGriff.
Jimmy McGriff,
was,
too. Yes,
no slouch either.
Well, yeah.
Okay, let's go to the Morning Groove album. And I've got it queued up. Let's see. This is called Morning Groove, the title track.
Right.
And let's take a listen, and then we'll talk about it after we play it. How's that?
Great.
All right, gang, without further ado, the great Teddy Royal, and this is the title track to the Morning Groove CD. Okay. That was beautiful, Teddy.
Thank you.
Playing was magnificent. You want to talk about the track Morning Groove?
Morning Groove is a tune that I had the pleasure of recording in Chicago when I was living in Chicago at Chicago Track Studios, and great place. I lived there for about 5 years, and I actually when I wrote that tune is when I first bought my guitar, actually. And the name of my guitar, I named it after my mother's, called Big Mama.
That's great.
And it's a pretty big guitar. It's an Epiphone, Charlie Christian copy, but Gibson and Epiphone merged together. So
Sure.
Yeah, it's a beautiful guitar. And then I wrote a tune called after Morning Groove. I wrote another tune called Teasin', and I spelled it Tezen, and that's another composition that I had the pleasure of recording too. And then I wrote another tune called Christina, and
was that named after someone in your life?
That was named after the lady that I was married to, called Christina, and I named it after her. And I also did a tune too called Josiah, and I did Josiah and beautiful tunes. They were beautiful tunes that I wrote.
That's those stories. That's beautiful. And the playing is
the musicians that was on Morning Groove and Christina and Teasin, they were from Chicago. They were Chicago musicians, and we got along very well. And I remember a piano player telling me, "Well, since this is going to be your first time in Chicago in a real studio, we're going to sock it to you." So, they did.
You mentioned Chicago. It is truly one of the great musical towns.
Oh yeah, I used to hang at a place called Kingston Mines, and right across the street from the Kingston Mines was the Blues. And you can always catch Lonnie Smith, Big Time Sarah, Gatemouth Brown, Magic Slim and the Teardrops, Coco Taylor, because I played with Coco Taylor for about 6 months, and and you would catch Junior Wells. These are the people that would be hanging out like on the weekend, and I got to meet all of them, and talk to them, and they talk to me, and stuff like that.
Yeah, you mentioned the blues, specifically the Chicago blues, and its history. And I saw Buddy Guy live.
Yeah.
Last November, and at 80 years old, he's still great.
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't lost a thing, and he doesn't play as much lead like he did, but
he used to.
But he's still worth the price of admission.
When I was with Coco Taylor, her husband's name was Pops Taylor, and he always called me the co-pilot.
That was good.
Yeah, because he would, they had a van, and sometimes we would go to Edmonton, Canada, places like that, Seattle, Washington, and in Washington D.C. and played at the Wax Museum, and I was always the co-pilot. He would call me, because I was always sitting in the front seat. That was my favorite seat. But I had my experience playing with different people is a great experience for you, and I got that.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Eclectic Journey. I'm your host, Mark Grossman, and in with me live in studio is the phenomenally great, legendary guitar player, Teddy Royal. And so proud to have him in the studio live here as my very special guest today. If you're listening, I hope you're enjoying the program. Okay, let's see. Let's do another tune. Let's play another tune, and this is called London Blues. How about we play it, and then we'll talk about it.
Great.
Okay. All right, gang. Without further ado, this is the great Teddy Royal with London Blues. Take a listen. Okay. That was fantastic. I'd love that, Teddy.
Me too.
That. Okay, let's talk about your.
Did you understand the words?
Kind of, but the part in that album. First, I thought you were playing guitar with kind of a wah-wah effect.
Yeah, that was my mouth. I was using my mouth. Wow, wow, and yeah, it came out that way.
Wow.
And matter of fact, that tune was the first tune that they played in England. Paul Jones was the person that played it, and he says after he played it, he says, "I like that, and I like it so much, I'm gonna play it again." So he played it twice, and it took before they started playing my CD in England. It took about 2 years before they started playing my CD, and that was the first tune that they played. I never forget it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it's quite a memory.
And Pearl Jones came to my gig in London at the Peach Express, and matter of fact, he took his harmonica out of his pocket, and he got up on stage when I was there with the Fats Domino Sidemen. He got up there on stage with me and performed with us, and it was great, man. It was great. I'd never forget it. It was a packed house.
Wow. I'm just, what you're telling me, these great, fantastic, sometimes incredible stories, and like I'm trying to picture it in my mind, and I really can't. Yet I want to so bad. It's so great. I can only imagine it and hear and listen to you describe it. And
it was a piece of history. It's a piece of history to me, and always will be, And I'm very proud what I've done.
Oh, sure. Sure, and you should be proud. And what you've accomplished musically over your life. Can't put a price on that.
When I came up with the London Blues, I created the London Blues in London, and there's blues in my playing too, and I remember I was, as you would say, making that noise, wow, wow, and my manager was saying, "Hey, Teddy, it's like, keep on doing that, man. Keep on doing that. That sounds great." And then I came up with the licks and the sketches on my digital recorder, because I had one there. And after the tune was over, we went to New Orleans and recorded that tune. And Waddell actually was my arranger, Waddell Cazaire, one of the top arrangers in New Orleans. And when I recorded that tune, he says, "Teddy, that's your hit there." Forget the other ones, that's your hit there, but
God.
Yeah, and he pulled me under his coat, under his wings, and he taught me a lot of things. Because he did a lot of sessions in Jackson, Mississippi, too, with Malaco.
Yeah, the list of musicians and producers that you have mentioned so far today, it's like a who's who. And there isn't even enough book space to provide it all. It's, if I were to make a list of all the names you told me, I'd run out of I'd use up all the pages in my notepad or whatever.
Well, all that I've told you is true.
Phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Like I said, you can't put a price on that.
No.
Okay. Another cut from the same album. Teasin'. You want to?
Yeah. Teasin' is a tune that, when you tease somebody, you only want to tease them a little bit, but not all the way.
Right.
So I spelled it Tezen. Teasin'.
That's quite a way to put that.
Yeah.
All right, let's cue this up. Okay. All right, folks. We're going to hear another track from the great, magnificent Teddy Royal. This is called Teasin'. Okay, so let's give a listen. That was terrific.
Thank you.
That was terrific. You want to talk a little bit about Teasin'?
Teasin' is like I told you, just wanted to give you a little bit, but not much. That's how I, look at it. But it's one of my compositions, and I loved recording it at Chicago Track Studios in Chicago. And the musicians, they were great musicians that's on it. And I had a good time,
I'll bet. I would have liked to have been there on that as a fly on the wall on those sessions.
Man, I mean, the cats, they all were great musicians, and we got along very well before we recorded the tune. I don't remember some of the musicians' name, but I remember the drummer played with Isaac Hayes, and organ player, he was on Ebony magazine. Can't remember their names too much. You know, if they heard me on the air, they'd probably come and knock me out. But, you know, it happens to us, you know. But it's been a while, you know, but it was a great musicians. They were great musicians, and it was a great recording.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to 91.7 WLFR Pomona at the Stockton University. This is The Eclectic Journey. I am your host, Mark Grossman. In with me live in studio is the incomparable Teddy Royal. I'm so thrilled and glad to have him. He is a true musical legend. Okay, let's talk about another tune. Dum-de-dum-dum. California Nights.
California Nights. Oh, man, that's one of my favorite tunes. You know, Wes Montgomery was my idol. And when I was with the Hearts of Stones, we played at Fun City in New York. And the first time I got introduced to Wes was the first tune I ever heard was Down Here on the Ground. And I remember Lindsey Griffin was one of the singers from the Hearts of Stones, and I was young then. He told me, he says, "Hey man, you want to hear a good guitar player, man? The cat can play chords and octaves and stuff like that. And when you can do that, man, you're really good, you know." So I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, man." He says, "Listen to it." So I listened to it, and that was it for me, you know. And I studied Wes for a long time, you know, and then from that, when I was living in Chicago, I had a show to do with Jack McDuff's wife. Her name was Doll Scott McDuff, and she wanted me to do a tribute to Wes Montgomery. And I said, great. And I went looking for an organ player. So I went to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and met a trumpet player, and he says, "I know just the cat you need, man." His name was Melvin Rhine. And I didn't know who he was until I called him up, had his phone number, and I went to his house. And it was sure enough Melvin Rhine. And he was Wes Montgomery's organist that played with Wes a long time. Right now he has an album out called Boss Organ. A CD, I'm sorry. And I had my guitar with me. And he says, "Man, take your guitar and let me hear you." Well, a legend like he was, you know, I just said, well, hey, I got to get up off the pot now and play. And I played, and he says, "Well, you sound good. You sound like Wes a little bit." He says, "Keep it up, man. Keep it up. Keep playing. Keep playing." And I said, "I am."
That's unbelievable. I mean, that's incredible. That story, it's like I said, you couldn't write that.
No.
I mean, and we, you know, you and I, we've talked a little bit about Wes Montgomery and what an influence.
Wes Montgomery was my idol, and I guess you can actually hear it in my playing, you know. And he was my influence, you know. And I always wanted to. I didn't want to be like the man. I just wanted to be able to play his music when I'm asked to play it. And I've gotten a lot of people would come up to me and they would say, "You sound just like Wes." And even Melvin Rhine said the same thing. And he was my idol, and until this very day.
You know, if we made a list of all the great, truly great guitar players, including yourself, who have been influenced by Wes Montgomery, I could fill just reams of paper up to the sky. I mean, it's you, Pat Martino, Pat Metheny. I mean, it's just Monette Sundler.
Well, when I recorded California Nights in New Orleans, they say Wes Montgomery was in the house at Sound Recording Studios. And I believe in spirit he was.
You know what? I would not disagree with that.
Yeah. But what I really want to say, too, is that, you know what, Mark, being here and giving me an interview, I want to say this here, not getting off the subject, but I want to say I thank God for the opportunity that he's given me through you. And God was the one that made this happen for me. And I just want to thank you from my heart. And I thank God because he comes first in everything that I do.
Teddy, you are so welcome. It is a pleasure and an honor and a thrill to have you here live on my show. And I could say a lot of words, but really no words can express the way I'm feeling right now. This is one of the, I have to say, it's one of the watershed moments of this program, having you in this studio. And I truly and sincerely mean that. And you're right. This was meant to be due to a higher power, so to speak.
You never know what God has in store for you.
That's right. And I agree.
And he can open doors that you can't open yourself.
I agree.
And he opened this door.
Yep. Yeah, there are no coincidences in life, and I truly believe that.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. Of course, we're not done. We're just getting started, folks. Okay, let's play California Nights.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about it a little before getting into playing it?
When I was playing it with the musicians and that was there on this cut, it felt good. It really felt good, and I really felt his spirit came into me. And when London played it, 102.2 with Paul Jones, they played it, and oh my goodness! You know, it's a difference when you're in the recording studio and you hear it on the speaker, but it's different, even more powerful when you hear it on radio.
Sure,
especially overseas.
Sure,
and it was very powerful there, and I felt his presence. And you know, when I was living in Chicago, I'm going to tell you this quick story.
Sure.
And it's a really, really true story. I was playing at a place called The Other Place on 75th and King Drive. I was playing with John Logan and the Explosions, a jazz group.
I think I remember that name.
Yeah. And I was playing one night, and in come this person. He had a gray beard, long gray beard, and he was dressed all in black with a white shiny tie. He had big rim, the hat. And he walked in, and we were getting ready to get on our break. And when we got on our break, and I was getting off the stage, he came up to me, and he said to me, I grabbed his hand, and his hand was ice cold. And he told me his name, and I told him my name, and he said, son, put the pick down, because I was playing with a pick. He said, son, put the pick down, and my hand was still in his hand. And when John Logan called me, and I turned my head, and I turned back around, he was gone. And everything on him was round. His head was round. His face was round. Everything was round. And he had big hands. And he disappeared because when I went to the bar and I said, "Did you see me? Did you see me talking to somebody?" And they says, "Well, we were wondering because you had your hand out and we didn't see anybody there." So I said, "What?" And they said, "Yeah." So I went looking for this person, couldn't find him, and I put the pick down, and I never picked it up since.
Oh my goodness!
So I didn't know what to say after that.
Wow!
But it was one great experience that I had.
I don't know what to say to that either.
We could have been Wes, but
maybe. Yeah.
But he did say that to me. He said, "Son, put the pick down." And that's what started me playing without a pick.
Wow.
And that's the closest sound that I've gotten, a Wes Montgomery sound, because I really, most of all, I really dug about Wes's playing was his octaves, how he made them and how he played them.
Sure. And they were distinctly his.
Yes.
I mean,
so for me, for Melvin Ryan to tell me something like that, and for this story that I just told you, to have me put the pick down, I created my own and my thumb playing.
Wow.
True story.
Wow. God, like I said, I'm at a loss for words. I'm blown away. I mean, that's, like I said, wow. You know what? You can't make this stuff up.
No.
You know, and I don't mean to sound cliched. I mean, but it's true.
It's true. It's true. You can hear it in my playing.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. And, you know, and you talked about Wes Montgomery, you know, and in some ways, maybe you were channeling him.
Well, you know, I never met the man. And I saw him on TV, you know, and heard all of his records, but it was something that I wanted to meet him in person, but I just never got a chance to meet him before he wasn't here anymore, you know, but if he was still alive, I would have a chance to meet him, but he was a great man, and his playing was phenomenal, you know. I mean, he did things with his thumb that a person, to me, couldn't do with a pick.
That's absolutely, you're absolutely right. That is absolutely true. Yeah, and like I said, he has influenced so many great guitar players, A to Z. Like, I mean, we'd run out of room.
Some of the musicians that I met when I was in England played with Wes Montgomery.
Oh, really?
So, oh, yeah. You know, so, yeah, until this very day, I will always love his music.
Okay, let's play the seminal tune, the Wes Montgomery penned California Nights.
Yeah.
All right, and all right, folks, this is the great Teddy Royal with California Nights. That was beautiful. I mean, that was gorgeous. The playing was just like it was magnificent.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to add about the track?
Hey, it was beautiful.
Okay. And that,
I mean, I enjoy listening to all my music. I sit down, and I say to myself, wow, what a creation I've done, and I love it all. I have more to record when I find me someone to record them for me.
Oh, absolutely. We have to work on that.
Yeah, I don't have a manager right now, but I know the Lord has sent one to me, and as far as playing places, I know He will open a door for me to do that too.
Absolutely. And yes, it's something we have to work on. And okay. It's 4:08 p.m. If you're listening, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to 91.7 FM WLFR Pomona at the Stockton University. This is Mark Grossman. I'm your host, and you are listening to another edition of the Eclectic Journey. And with us today, our very special guest live in studio is the great, phenomenal Teddy Royal, guitar player extraordinaire. And he's talking about his fabulous musical life in music. All right, we're going to take a short break. I'm going to play some PSAs, and then we're going to come right back, and we're going to listen to some more things that Teddy has done, that Teddy has played on, specifically more records. And I'm going to guess that they are artists that you will recognize. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
Bills, bills, and more bills. All I could think about was finding some extra money for the, bills.
EITC.
Until now, I've always been able to find a way.
EITC.
Then when little Kayla was playing with the magnetic letters on the refrigerator, it hit me. EITC, the Earned Income Tax Credit. It's a tax credit for working people. I never paid too much attention to it before, but my salary was cut, so things are different.
Did you make less than $48,000 in 2010? See if you qualify. Because some people can get as much as $5,600 extra back from the IRS when they file their taxes. Wouldn't that help you make ends meet? Visit irs.gov/EITC. You could have extra money right there in front of you. Money you've already earned.
Go ahead. Say it, Kayla.
EITC.
Did you know that millions of
When children experience traumatic events, they may not know how to ask for help. Recognizing the signs of childhood trauma is an important first step. Visit samhsa.gov/child-trauma.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You are listening to 91.7 WLFR Pomona at the Stockton University. This is Mark Grossman. I am your host. You are listening to another Eclectic Journey, another edition of the Eclectic Journey, and I'm so pleased and proud and honored to have the great Teddy Royal, guitar player extraordinaire, live in studio today. It has been just a phenomenal first hour, and I'm so looking forward to the second hour of our interview here live in studio. And Teddy, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
And this has just been great so far. Now, before we get to your work on various artists' albums, I've got two questions to ask you, and it's from a caller who called in to say he was enjoying today's show. So here are the questions. Did Teddy have a chance to play the Parisian or French scene?
No.
Answer is no. All right. Second question. Was Teddy better received in Europe or the U.S. in the 1950s and 60s?
Yes.
There you go. It was a gentleman caller, right, Bill?
Yes.
To the gentleman caller who asked these questions, there you go. I hope you were listening. Okay. Now, Teddy, we're going to move to a different phase or phases of your incredible career. And we're talking about the specific artist that you've played for and with in the studio and in some cases live.
Yeah, we played Madison Square Garden. Dorothy Moore was her name.
Wow.
We played there twice, Madison Square Garden. It was Dorothy Moore, the Dells, the I can't remember the other artist's name. The Dells and the Spinners, the Manhattans. And another group I can't recall. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I was her personal guitar player. That Malaco, Tommy Couch was the president of Malaco Studios in Jackson, Mississippi. He flew me from Toronto because I was playing at a club called Cosmo 2000. I mean, not Cosmo. I'm sorry. I forgot the name of the club, but it was a very big club. I was there with the Hearts of Stones. Yeah, Cosmo 2000. That's what it was. And he flew me from there to Jackson, Mississippi, and put me in the Quality Inn in the hotel. And I met Dorothy Moore that next day and traveled with her as a personal guitar player. Yeah, and we did a lot of shows. We traveled a lot of places, and I had to rehearse the bands before her show started. And I remember rehearsing with Johnny Taylor's band and Tyrone Davis's band.
I remember all those names.
Yeah.
Johnny Taylor. Yeah.
It was great.
I'll bet. Yeah. Now, the two shows at MSG back during that time, did you draw good crowds?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, would they be at least 15,000 per night in that range?
Put it that way.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm impressed. I'm blown away. Okay, let's do a cut from the album Misty Blue.
Misty Blue, yes.
And this is the title track.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to say about the title track before we play it?
No.
Okay. Okay, gang, without further ado, this is Misty Blue.
Such a long, long time. Look like I get you off of my mind, but I can't. Just the thought of you turns my whole world misty blue. Just the mention of your name turns the flicker to a flame. Listen to me, good baby. things we used to do, and my whole world turns misty blue. Oh, baby, I should forget you. Heaven knows I've tried. Such a long, long time. Looks like I'd get you off of my mind, but I can't. Just the thought of you, my love, my whole world turns misty blue.
that was the great Teddy Royal with Red Beans. And before that, we heard, of course, the seminal tune, Misty Blue. You want to talk about Misty Blue some more?
Yeah, which was done in Jackson, Mississippi. I had the pleasure of, when I got with Dorothy Moore, at the time before I got with her, Tommy Couch was the president of the company, and he wanted me to hook up with Dorothy Moore to be her personal guitar player, and he found out where I was when I was in Canada, and at Cosmo 2000 with the group called the Hearts of Stones, and he flew me from there, from Canada to Jackson, Mississippi, and the very next day I went to the studio. They came to pick me up from the hotel, and I got to meet Dorothy, and very great person. And they wanted me to go on the road with her as her personal guitar player, and it was great.
What was she like to be around?
She was a very humble person. She was very nice, very calm, and I didn't meet her husband until later on. But she was a beautiful person to work with. I mean, every time that she would fly, places to do her show, I was with her. It was just me and her, and working with her was she wasn't a hard person to give you trouble or anything like that. She was a very beautiful lady and very soft spoken, and but she knew her music.
Sure.
And Tommy Couch was the person that got me to hook up with her, and he wanted me to meet her, and he wanted me to go on the road with her, and I had to do a little audition before she decided to say yes, and I did, and she said yes, and that was that. And we played Madison Square Garden about 2 times, in the Apollo Theater in New York. We played a lot of places. And she also played in Macon, Georgia, and it was her and Tyrone Davis and Johnny Taylor, and it was a great show.
Yeah, you mentioned Johnny Taylor a little bit before, and I remember Johnny Taylor.
Yeah. Well, I had to rehearse his band to when I was at this Palladium doing a concert. It's a big auditorium, huge. It had to seat about 5,000 people, and I had rehearsed Johnny Taylor's band, and then I remember somewhere else that I rehearsed with Tyrone Davis's band.
That must have been
it was
quite an experience.
It was because we rehearsed right in the hotel, in the big room, and it was great. I mean, I knew her music, so I didn't have any problems.
Okay, getting back, I don't mean to digress, but the gentleman caller who called during the first hour of the program, the second question, I'm going to repeat it. Again, he asked, were you better received in Europe or the U.S. in the 50s and 60s? And I believe you said, yes, you were better received in Europe.
I was.
In Europe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I was better received there. And I felt good about it. But here in America, I don't want to say.
I get it. I totally understand.
I don't want to. My record also was first played in Europe. Was never played in the States. in the U.S. of A. until I came to Philadelphia, and they played it on WRTI. And the first record that they played on WRTI was California Nights for the longest. And that's how I got to meet other musicians from Philadelphia, like Bootsy Barnes, Eddie Green, Sid Simmons, oh man, Tony Williams,
really,
Manette Sedler. I got to meet all these people, and played with them. And it was not too long ago was a big jazz concert in Philadelphia for the organ players, like Jimmy McGriff, Jack McDuff, Jimmy Smith, and I also did a thing there with my good friend Webb Thomas, play drums. And he had me on it, and it was a great performance. That he was in charge, Webb Thomas, and it was a great performance. And that's my buddy, Webb Thomas. And I know a lot of cats. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of cats, but just to me, the main ones in Philadelphia.
You mentioned those great keyboard players, those great organists. Mm-hmm. Salt Dr. Lonnie Smith.
Oh, Lonnie Smith, yeah. I caught Lonnie Smith at the Jazz Standards in New York.
Really?
Yeah, just like I caught Melvin Ryan at the Jazz Standards in New York. You know what they used to... Well, I don't want to get into that.
But I saw Lonnie Smith like 14 months ago. He played here in the area.
Yeah. I never knew him as far as talking to him. I've seen him before. A great player.
Oh, phenomenal. He's a phenomenal player.
I saw Jimmy Smith in Paris.
Now, I've never seen Jimmy Smith.
Oh, man.
And that's someone that's on my bucket list.
Oh, my goodness, man. I had the first seat right in front of him, looking dead at him, And that was a good night in Paris.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
I'll bet.
Well, I met Hank Crawford in Germany.
Wow.
And asked him, I says, Hank, he says, I've heard so much about you, and I love your playing. So my manager wanted me to ask you, will you be on my CD? He says, okay. He says, I'm going to give you my direct number. And he did. And he's on my CD, Hank Crawford.
Excuse me. Pardon me. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to 91.7 WLFR Pomona at the Stockton University. This is Mark Grossman. I am your host, and you are listening to another edition of The Eclectic Journey. And with me in studio is the phenomenal, fantastic, great guitar player, Mr. Teddy Royal. And it is such a pleasure to have you, sir.
The question that you asked me about, was I accepted in Europe more than in the States? I was, because the reason why I'm saying that is because they appreciate the music there. They appreciate it. And there's no talking. They don't allow talking. And then they really listen, because there's some really heavy jazz listeners in Europe.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. And, I've interviewed a couple of blues musicians from Germany, and even the great Ron Carter, who played with Miles.
Yes.
Way back in the day, and he played with Cannonball Adderley.
Oh, yeah.
Well, people, and Ron Carter will attest to this, German musicians are... They're so right on, and they play beautifully, and they just, they get right to it.
Ron Carter was one hell of a bass player.
Oh God, he still is,
man, and still is. Wow,
yeah.
And every time when I was in Europe, because we had 38 one-nighters with when I was with Fats Domino, on the road, and Santana. I mean, I couldn't believe he was sitting right next to me when I was eating, eating dinner before we go on and do the show. You know,
You're talking about Carlos?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, and his manager was sitting there too. You know, and I got to meet a lot of famous musicians. I mean, when we were over at the in the south of France, the Monterey Jazz Festival, you know, over there, and after the shows was over, they would all go back to this hotel, which was the Holiday Inn, right at the shore. And they would lock this room up with all of these musicians in there, man. And the things that the playing that you would hear was incredible. And this was all night going on, you know.
Sure. I can imagine.
Oh, man.
I can imagine. And
I had a great time.
Oh, I'll bet. And like I said, I
can't get this over here.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, yeah, you have to be there.
You have to be there. And I was there.
I mean, you and I could describe it in so many words.
You know, there's a saying that
still,
there's a lot of people that have gone many places, but I've actually got to do it.
Sure.
And seen a lot of things, you know, and this is my history, you know, and playing is my life, you know, and my art. You know, and yeah, I love it because God gave me the talent to do it.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. You're listening to The Eclectic Journey. I'm your host, Mark Grossman. You're listening to 91.7 WLFR Pomona. At the Stockton University, we're on the web. That web address is www.wlfr.fm. Okay, let's get to some more stuff that you've done on other artists' work. Okay, this next tune is...
Mama.
Right, Wild... how do you pronounce it?
The Wild... Tchoupitoulas.
The Wild Tchoupitoulas. Okay. And this, again, this track is titled...
Mama.
And it's about your mama.
Yeah.
Okay.
And recorded at C. Saint Studios in New Orleans.
There you go.
With Alan Toussaint.
Alan Toussaint was there.
Yes.
Wow.
And he's missed today.
Yes, he is. Now, did he write this tune?
He wrote all of it.
God. Wow.
All of
it. Genius.
Tell me about it.
Living legend.
Yes, he is.
And, I mean,
we would hang out together.
Really?
Yeah. In the back of the studio, they had a patio. And that's where all the musicians hung out, you know, whenever there was a session there. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
All of them. Paul McCarthy came through there. Patti LaBelle came through there. All the famous musicians came through there.
I'll bet.
Oh yeah.
I'll bet. Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I mean,
just being there.
We have to pay homage to the man. I mean, they don't make them like him.
No, they don't
anymore.
make them like this.
So, and I'm sorry, folks. I'm digressing. Okay, we're going to get to the music. This is called. Mama, so bear with me. All right, here we go. This is called Mama.
Down there.
You're listening to 91.7 WLFR Pomona at the Stockton University. This is Mark Grossman. I am your host for another eclectic journey. I hope you're enjoying the program. With me live in studio is the phenomenal and great, magnificent guitar player extraordinaire, Teddy Royal. And we're talking about his magical and phenomenal music, life in music. We're also listening to his phenomenal music. Teddy, you want to talk about what we just played? The bit of New Orleans there?
Oh, man. New Orleans is a place, brotherly love, they call it. The Big Easy, they call it. The Big O. When I first went to New Orleans, I met Elijah Walker. He was Jimmy DeVille's. He was the man in New Orleans. That's no longer with us, but let him rest in peace. But that's how I got to meet a lot of people from New Orleans, a lot of singers, Ernie Cato, Lee Dorsey, Jean Knight. They made Mr. Big Stuff. I went to Hawaii with her for 2 weeks. I had a chance to play on Ernie Cato and James Rivers and Willie T. and a lot of well-known artists in New Orleans. And I got to meet the Neville Brothers and played on a cut called Honey Dripper and Dance Your Blues Away. And you can always meet these kind of people here that I've mentioned in New Orleans, have conversations with them, play on the same gig with them, and I had a chance to play with Charles Neville's, and met a lot of people there.
We could talk hours.
The Wild Chapatulas and the Wild Magnolias was one of the greatest things that I had to experience with, and recording with them, because they're very, New Orleans musicians, man, some serious cats down there, and when you go for practice, there's no 1 hour practice. They don't do that down there. They go for hours and hours until the next day, maybe until the following day after. That's how it was down there. And my music career, not my music career, but my music and heritage is from New Orleans.
Sure.
And I got the spirit from there in me.
Sure. Like I was going to say, New Orleans. We could spend hours upon hours
talking about New Orleans.
Of and in itself. There's such a legacy, a musical legacy. Yeah. Spit it out, Mark.
I'm still in contact with some of the musicians down there, like Art Neville's, Aaron Neville's. I saw George Porter in Philadelphia, and Leo Nocentelli, and a lot of cats,
sure,
that I had experience with down there.
Sure. And we were talking about the Meters.
Yeah, the Meters. Oh, man. The Meters was, Zigaboo. Zigaboo was one of the funkiest drummer you ever want to meet in your life, man. And he had a group down there that I was in it. It was called Joy. And I was, I went to New Orleans with Coco Taylor, and saw Zigaboo. He was peeping through the door. He was trying to figure who I was on stage. But after I got off, I went to we were talking, But Zigaboo, man, is the cat, man. Zigaboo is the cat, man, on drums. This cat can play so many different beats all in one. Hey, I enjoyed myself, man. You know, that's I consider New Orleans my home.
Yeah, you know, I talk to a lot of musicians, and they all consider.
Yeah, I just want to make set the record straight. You know, when people ask me where you from, I say I'm from New Orleans. Why I said that's because I spent over 30 years down there. You know, and when you spent those many years at a place, you can say that you're from there. My music and heritage is from there. I lived there, right on LaSalle, right around the corner from Uncle Dan's. You know, and hey, man, I'm from there. I don't consider myself as, even though I was born in Queens General Hospital in the Bronx in New York, you know, I consider myself from New Orleans. And that's why I tell people when they ask me where you're from, I say, I'm from New Orleans. You know, but there's a way you say New Orleans. New Orleans.
That's right.
And I can say that. See, I'm not from Atlantic City, but I live in Atlantic City, you know, but I'm an international musician.
I agree. Yeah.
You know, and that's what I am.
Yep.
And I have the credentials to prove it.
Yes, he does, folks. Absolutely. And I can testify to that right here, right now. You're listening to 91.7 WLFR Pomona at the Stockton University. You're listening to The Eclectic Journey. I am your host, Mark Grossman. And you've been listening to a fantastic live in-studio interview with the great, fantastic Teddy Royal, guitar player extraordinaire. And we're talking about his unbelievable, in some cases, magnificent musical journey, if you will. His musical life. And I'm not going to use career because music is not and never was a career to Teddy Royal. So here he is live in studio on my show. This is a thrill. Again, I thank you so much for being on the show. Now, we heard the track of the Chapatoulas.
Chapatoulas.
Okay.
The Wild Chapatoulas.
The Wild Chapatoulas. And after that, we heard a track called Artie from, let's see.
The Best of Teddy Royal.
Right. The Best of Teddy Royal CD. You want to talk about that tune?
Yeah, Artie. I named that tune after my mother after she passed away. Her name was Artie Bell. And that's a very old name. She was from South Carolina. She's Cherokee Indian, and I'm Cherokee Indian. And I wrote that tune and named it after her, Artie.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. And all my music was recorded in New Orleans. And some great musicians, man, that's on my CD. And we had some good times. My manager, when she was living, she took a picture of us before we recorded in the studio, and then a picture after we recorded the CD. And let me tell you, man, it was great.
I'll bet.
It was great.
I'll bet.
I mean, sometimes my mind go back there, you know, when I hear my tunes. You know.
Sure.
But I just wish that there was some way that I could be booked here to play my own compositions that's never been played before here. And that would be so great for me.
You know what, man? We have to work on that too.
I really wish that would be fantastic for me, because then I would show the people here what God gave me to do.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Folks, this is Top of the Mountain here in the studio today, Mr. Teddy Royal. Okay, it is 4:58 p.m. What I'm going to do is play a couple of PSAs, take a little break, and we'll be right back. Now, first, I have to load up the PSAs. There we go. All right. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Most of us start every day with good intentions, and then everyday life gets in the way.
Maybe next time.
What if you could take care of your daily responsibilities and get the exercise you need all at the same time? Experts say with more opportunities to walk, bike, or take public transportation, active living would become part of our daily lives. It's not impossible, but it will take good planning. Learn more at planning.org. That's planning.org. A message from this station and the American Planning Association.
My name is Dale Pazinski.
Most of us start every day with good intentions, and then everyday life can get in the way, especially when it comes.
I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
My name is Dale Pazinski, and this is how I live United. I volunteer with United Way, helping the homeless in my community by teaching computer skills and helping them build a basic resume to save on their very own USB drive. It's huge when somebody says, "Hey man, that job that you helped me apply for, I got it." My name is Dale Pazinski. I help people achieve financial independence. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I'm 19 years old, and this is how I live United. I've always been kind of a computer geek, and I found a way to use those skills to help the homeless in my community. For people facing hard times, computer skills and a basic resume are so important. It may seem like a small thing, but it makes a huge difference in people's lives. So with United Way, I created a program where I work with the homeless. Together, we go through their whole job history, write a resume, and then save it on their very own USB drive. We provide workbooks and training certificates. I even budgeted for cupcakes so we can celebrate as a class when one of our people gets a job. That's huge. When somebody says, "Hey man, that job that you helped me apply for, I got it." That's what living united feels like to me. My name is Dale Pazinski. I help people achieve financial independence. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
You are listening to WLFR 91.7 at the Richard Stockton University. This is Mark Grossman. I am your host. You are listening to another eclectic journey, and live here in the studio on this program is one of the truly legendary and great guitar players in this world. His name is Mr. Teddy Royal. He is my special guest here live in studio. Again, Teddy, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, let's get back to some more music, and let's see. This is called. Okay, this is the Hearts of Stones group, and it's from a. Wait a minute. Stop the World, We Want to Get On.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yep, I got it. Stop the World, We Want to Get On. Which
That's the name of the album.
Title of the album, and we're going to hear the first track, which is, again, let's see.
Lonesome Road.
I'm sorry, it's a Lonesome Road. Okay.
It's a Lonesome Road.
Yep. Okay. All right, so got it queued up, and, okay, we're going to play it, and this is... It's a Lonesome Road with the Hearts of Stone Band, which at that time featured a much, much younger Teddy Royal. Okay, without further ado, this is It's a Lonesome Road.
What happened to me?
That was terrific. I enjoyed that.
Me too. It brought back memories.
That was a much younger Teddy Royal, and in Motown during those days. You want to talk about that a little more?
At one time, the Hearts of the Stones was John Myers, Lindsey Griffin, Carl Cutler from Philadelphia, and Floyd Lawson. At the time, we were all living on Blackstone Street in Providence, Rhode Island, in one house. They all had ladies with them, but I was young then, and I was staying with them, and they were always writing songs, but I was the groove maker. I was the person that created the music to their songs. And Stephanie DeParis was a young lady from Montreal, Canada, which recorded the group and got the group involved with Motown. And she hooked up the group, and she would go to Detroit when Motown was in Detroit and said that they had a guitar player too with them. I was the guitar player. And that's how I got to record with them. And when we went to Detroit, we stayed at the Quality Inn. And Hank Cosby was their producer in Motown. And you get to see all of these top stars, managers walking around in this big, huge building that I knew nothing about. I've heard of Motown, and you know what was so strange is that everybody, Marvin Gaye, all of them, with Motown, you get to hear on record about these people, about the top stars, but you never knew who the musicians were. But it was the Funk Brothers all the time. You know? And I got an opportunity to travel with the group to Motown and stayed at the Quality Inn. And I was young then. I didn't know. Going in the studio, I saw where the musicians recorded. It was a house, and as you walked in, you walked, it was 3 stairs down. And they had a section for guitar players, a section for the drummers, a section for the violin, the vibraphone players, and they even had a tambourine player. I just never knew at the time that a tambourine player had music charts, knew what to do and when to play, But I just walked in there because Hank said to me, he says, "Oh, you young kid, I just walked in the studio and sat down and I started playing on other people's cuts that I didn't know." So that was that was one great experience I had, and we recorded. But they also had another studio where they just did the singers, and we were there for about 2-3 weeks to a month to record the Hearts of Stones.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, did you get a chance to meet Berry Gordy?
No, I didn't get a chance to meet him. But even if I did see him, even if he was there, I wouldn't know who he was. My mind was into, hey, man, wow, Motown, and I'm getting to meet the musicians. I hung out with some of the musicians, and got to talk to them and stuff. It was a great experience, man. It's... doesn't happen often like that, and I was on some cuts that I didn't know I was on, and I didn't know how to. Of course, you had to read music, but what Hank did, he wrote a round of my playing on a tape recorder because we were in the room before we went to the studio. We were in the building of Motown, and we were in a little small room with the group and me, and they would say, okay, I would take my guitar out, and the singers would start singing, and I start playing because that's how it happened.
Right.
And then Hank heard my playing, and he wrote around my playing the arrangement, and that's how they did it. But it was a great experience, man.
Yeah, you talk about the recording experience. You're talking, what, 1966?
Yes, in the 60s, yeah.
And then you move forward.
I moved forward.
To now. It's, you could do all that in half a day and with a computer chip. Or I mean, technology is unbelievable today.
I'm just so happy to have this, with me.
Sure.
It's a collector's item.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Like I said, you can't put a price on this stuff.
No, you can't.
And you're listening to 91.7 WLFR, Pomona at the Stockton University. This is Mark Grossman. I am your host, and you are listening to another eclectic journey. Hope your day is going well. In the studio with me, of course, is the incredible, phenomenal guitar player extraordinaire, Mr. Teddy Royal, live in studio here on the program. I'm so thrilled and proud to have you here. You're a living legend.
I thank you, man.
You, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I mean,
I feel you.
This is beautiful. Okay. Tell you what, I'm going to queue up, listen to a couple of more tunes off of your CD, The Best of Teddy Royal. I want to do Burnt Matches.
Yeah, Burnt Matches is one great tune.
And then how about Christina?
Christina, it's a nice one, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, let's see. Yep. Okay. All right, without further ado, this is the incomparable Teddy Royal once again with Burnt Matches. Take a listen. You are listening to 91.7 WLFR Pomona at the Stockton University. This is The Eclectic Journey. I'm your host, Mark Grossman, and we just heard a couple of more of the couple of tunes from the great Teddy Royal. We heard Burnt Matches, and then we heard another instrumental after that called Christina. You want to talk about those two tunes?
Christina is a tune that I named after my wife's. Her name was Christina. And when I wrote the tune is when I first bought my new guitar from Chicago Music Store right around the corner from where I lived on Paulino, 3500 North Paulino. I used to go and play on this guitar every day, and I fell in love with it. So I wind up getting it, and when I got it, I wrote Morning Groove and Christina and Teasin. Those are the three that I did at Chicago Track Studios. And Mike, you know how I write tunes is when I see something. You know, like if I see it could be anything. If I see a flower or a Picasso, you know, something, I get something from looking at things, and I write music from it. So my wife, you know, very educated lady. She was a college professor at Chicago University.
Really?
Yeah, and she taught photography and sculpture. She was great at it. And she had her master's degree. And I would be playing on the guitar every day. So I created these tunes, and I named one of my tunes, that tune that I just got to playing, Christina, after her.
They're beautifully, not only beautifully played, but the tracks on your own albums are beautifully produced. I have to tell you that.
Thank you.
And also, I wanted to bring up the writing process for you. Mm-hmm. How does it work? Is it just usually spur of the moment? Something will go off in your head, or like you said, maybe you walk past a piece of art.
Yeah, I would get this idea. Actually, I would get a feeling from what I'm looking at.
Sure,
put it that way, and I would write something of the feeling that I'm getting from looking at something. And just name it after that. But I would have a tape. If I'm sleeping, something goes off in my head, I wake up and put it down. I always kept a recorder next to the bed and a recorder on me. And I was always listening to, you know, to music, and always looking at other things, and I would write like that, put down sketches, and it was like a puzzle, putting it together, and that's how I would write. That's what I did in London too. When I came to New Orleans, I had my sketches and everything together. So when I got in the studio, I knew exactly what I was doing, and I would play it for the musicians, and they understood. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. That's what you would call a head session. Yeah. But when Waddell got to it, it was on charts. You know, reading charts, you know, but I didn't need any charts because he knew exactly where I was coming from. But the musicians knew where I was coming from too, because they would listen to my sketches and understand. And then Waddell just put it all together.
When you say the word sketch or sketches,
little pieces here and there, right. You know, like da 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 da. I'll put that down, and then I go to the next phase and put another piece of music down, and then that was named number one, and here's number two, and here's number three, and then the bridge.
Sure.
stuff like that. New Orleans, man, that's what I liked about New Orleans, because we all had our own interpretation how we would create music. Sure. And that I was taught that there, how to come up with a piece of music and make it sound like you hear there, and then get the musicians that I know that can do it.
Yeah. Sure. You mentioned New Orleans, and to me, even now, they're musical experiments.
I mean, you had to hang out with these cats in New Orleans, man, to really understand their music ability and their type of feelings, because musicians are very sensitive people. You can tell by the way they play their music. It becomes a part of them. And I mean, hanging out with Henry Butler, James Black, oh man, Willie T, James Rivers, James Booker, Red Tyler. These cats I would see every day, man, and talk to them and hang out with them, man. And I mean, these cats would be playing, man. I mean, some real jazz down there, and I grew up in that. That's why I say that my music was from there and what I know now.
But I'm going to guess back in those days, everything, if you were a New Orleans-based musician, everything was just a big experiment.
Oh, yeah.
And there was no specific paradigm being followed.
No.
And it's the same way today, even with the new wave.
And I mean, you would walk down the streets and you would hear cats in their house playing. I mean, it's all night, I mean, New Orleans is a place of music. It's not a place of destruction. It's a place of music. And constantly, I mean, like, hey, on my CD, there was a drummer there. Yeah, that's on my CD. That was in the movie of Ray Charles movie.
Really?
And I mean, cats that was on my CD, they're all jazz giants. They're all legends. It wasn't just get anybody, because my manager, Gudrun Francina, I mean, she was one of the greatest, and they loved her down there. Every time she came down there, they knew her. Waddell loved her. He always said to her, boy, you got nice toes.
There you go.
And how did Red Beans come about? My tune called Red Beans is that every time I went to New Orleans, I always had red beans. But the only thing I forgot to add the rice.
Yep, I was just going to say. When you go to New Orleans, you got to eat the red beans and rice.
Oh yeah, man.
Yep.
I mean, like if you haven't had that, then you haven't had nothing.
Yep.
And the crawfish, and the gumbo.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I know this is a music program, but since we're talking about New Orleans, you cannot talk about its status as the culinary.
See, down there they called red beans
capital.
Bullets.
Right.
I mean, hey, man, you can't get those beans up here.
That's right. That's right. You probably can't get the rice.
You can't get the rice
here.
either from down here. I mean, you got to go there and really get the taste.
Sure.
I mean, as soon as you get off the airport and you're walking through the lobby, you're going to smell New Orleans.
Oh, I don't. You know what? I have to get there. That's on my bucket list.
Especially at the Mardi Gras and the Jazz Festival. Oh, man.
Have you gone to the Heritage
Jazz Festival?
Fest?
I played on it.
Really?
Yeah, with Fats.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. I played with, I mean, Fats is, I mean, I stayed at his house at months at a time. I mean, he was like a father to me, I mean, the best part about it, the best thing that I had my experience with Fats is staying at his house and watching him in his green silk pajamas and his knit on his hair and his Heineken beer in one left hand and playing the piano and with his right hand, and we all in the room together, just me and him, until 4 or 5 in the morning playing. And I've learned how he creates his music, because he could drink a Heineken beer, was his favorite, and he would sing songs, man, that you ain't never heard before, you know, and cook. Oh, my goodness, this man can. I mean, there ain't nowhere in the world you're going to starve with him, you know. I mean, hey, waking up in the morning at his house. I was staying in the mansion in the back of his little house, you know. And today, you know, people, it's a historical, his place now in New Orleans, the Lower Ninth Ward. I mean, Katrina came and just messed all that up, you know. He sent for me to come to New Orleans after Katrina.
Right.
I was there with him when looking at the house, his house, you know, and but now it's a historical place, you know. At least I was told that, but I think one of his sons is staying at 1208 Catherine. That's where Fats was staying. But hey, good times with Fats, man, is staying at his house with him, me playing the bass and him playing the piano, and I would have my guitar too, you know, and oh man, great man, a great man. I mean, great man.
I have to tell you, it's really sad to see him now in the shape that he is in. And
yeah, but you know what? I still call there, you know, and his daughter sent me a picture of him for of his birthday.
Yeah, you were showing me that before the show.
Yeah,
yep.
And great man. I mean, I have to pay my respects to go down there to see him, because I was really close to him. You know, I was really close to him, and so I got to go down there and see him. You know, really, I got to go down there and see him. His daughter sent me a book of matches of his birthday, which is a collector's item to me. But I have pictures of him, you know, and I mean, just being with him, I didn't have to go anywhere. I didn't want for anything while I was there at his house. He was sent for me, and I would stay at his house months at a time, you know, and that's how I got to meet other movie stars that would just come there and see Fats.
Wow.
You know, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he, in a lot of ways, he's the king.
Oh, yes.
You know.
Oh, yes. You know what was so funny when I was in Germany? I think it was in Belgium, maybe Berlin. Was doing a concert there, and Ray Charles came. And Ray Charles and Fats was in the room, and Ray Charles said to Fats, "Hey, Fats, look, want to take a picture together?" Fats said, "Okay." He said, "Well, let me take yours first, and then you can take mine."
Oh, man.
And Fats said, "Okay, cool." And, you know, Fats invited him back at the hotel where we were staying to eat some New Orleans cookies. So Fats always brought his pots and stuff and food with him as he traveled. He had he had a trunk full of pots and rice and beans, and you know, he was, you know, Reggie Hall is Fats' brother-in-law, and Reggie Hall was the cat that took care of the band and Fats.
Really?
Live in New Orleans, you know, and I talk to Reggie Hall all the time. I mean, he was the man. Road manager, everything. And
chief
you know,
cook, bottle washer.
And No, Fats would cook the food.
Oh, really?
But he was sending Reggie out to go, and another cat that was my friend and Reggie's friend too, very close. Name they call him Rip, and they would go out and find these ham hocks, in Germany, and Pig's feet and stuff. Come back and give it to Fats, and boy, the hotel be smoking.
I'll bet. I can imagine. I'm just trying to imagine that whole scene.
Those was the days, man, right. and I miss those days. I'll
bet you do. and like I said before, they're priceless. You can't put a price on them.
Oh yes, man. Yeah, I was very close to Fats. Until this very day, I'm still close to him. Because they call me. The daughter calls me and let me know that the father's okay. I'll call Fats every day sometimes, but doesn't answer the phone. But I understand why. But just by my voice being on there, she tells him who calls him. And then sometimes she'll call the person and tells him, But, oh, yeah, man.
Well, we don't have much time left.
I understand.
Let me ask you. Do you want to just talk briefly how you got turned on to music? I'm sure when you were
when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mother started me into guitar, and she also sung too, gospel. I mean, she was always singing and cooking, fried chicken. The house was smelling, but. My sister would, they call him Mr. Jarvis. I would go down to his house sometimes and with her on 135th Street in Lenox. And one day I went in the bathroom. When I came out, hanging on the door was a guitar. So I got interested in it, and I just picked it up, and I didn't know what to do with it. I was just plucking the strings, I didn't know anything about my keys or the name of the strings or how to place my finger on the fretboard. Then another time, my sister took me to. My mother got married twice, so my sister took me to her father. My sister's father. My mother had 8 kids. I was the baby, So when I went down to my sister's father's house, the same thing. I saw a guitar hanging on the door, and it was a K guitar, and it was big. I was a little small kid then. It looked huge, and I said to him, I says, "Can I just look at it?" And he said, "Yeah." He says, "You want it?" I said, "Yeah." And I was excited. So I took it home with me. And, man, I must have got on my mother's nerves because I didn't know what I was doing. But I know, and I had an amplifier. Back in the game, there was a Silvertone amplifier and a Silvertone guitar. Well, I got the Silvertone amplifier, but the guitar that I had was an acoustic electric guitar, and it was big. A Kent. And I think it was a K, Kent, one of those. But I remember playing on it, and I used to watch the Perry Como show and the Arthur Godfrey show back in those days. And I spotted this guitar player that was playing a Hawaiian guitar, steel guitar. And I said, I want to see if I can sound like that. And then I started playing with a butter knife, but I wasn't making any sense. I just was making a lot of noise, and my mother said, "Child, give me that guitar. Let me show you something." And she showed me 3 notes. And those 3 notes, I kept at it and at it and at it until it started me off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how old were you?
I must have been about 6 or 7 years old.
Right. And then from there, did you keep playing into your teens?
Oh, yes, man. Yes. I even hung out with cats around the neighborhood that would... I remember I was hanging out with a friend of mine, and his father was the superintendent at this building right around the corner from my house where I was living. I was living at 480 Concord Avenue in the Bronx. And I went with him, and he says, hey, man, Pops ain't here, man. My father's not here. Let me get out these guitars and amps, man. Let's have a jam session, you know. And his other friends would come over, and he had a Fender Telecaster. At the time, I had, you know, a little guitar. You know, I had my guitar. And I took it around the house, and we would, oh, man, we'd be all night. But at 12 o'clock was it. We had to leave before the parents come home because he didn't want his father to see the amps and the guitar, man. When I saw the Fender Twin Reverb and these guitars, man, it was like me being in a nightclub already, you know, and hung out and started playing. And then I got involved with this cat that played at the Comet Club. His name was Les Cooper back in the days. And he made a record called Garbage Can. And I would go out every night and hang out this club. I wasn't allowed to go in because I was too young. But one night, I was there on a Friday night. I'm going to say this real fast.
Sure.
He came out, and he saw me hanging. He says, what's your name? And I told him my name. He says, what are you doing out so late? I says, I want to learn how to play. He says, okay. He says, well, if I bring you in, you have to sit at a table, but you can't drink. I says, okay. And I started hanging out with him, and I got involved, more involved. And as I grew up into the music thing, I became to meet different people. And different people started introducing me to different people. And it just kept on and on and on.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. I'm blown away. The stories are just, they keep, I mean, one gets better than the next.
Those was the days for me. Yeah.
Wow. All right. How about we close out the show with a couple of tunes?
Okay.
All right. And this, let's see. 4 and 5. Can't Give It Up.
Can't Give It Up. That's right.
And track after that is called That's Why I Love You.
Right.
All right. How about we finish the show with those two tunes?
Yeah.
All right. Without further
And I was the co-writer of those two tunes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yep. Yeah. You're right, Teddy. Your name's on there. Yep. Absolutely. Proof positive. I can attest to it, folks.
Yeah.
All right. Without further ado, the great Teddy Royal, and this is
King Floyd.
This is Teddy Royal playing with the late great King Floyd. Okay, let's listen in.
vibrations make me feel so alive. Baby, that's why I love you. Woman, that's why I love you. Listen to this. You're sweet as a fragrance from a flower. And I've only known you, girl, 1 hour. I've learned so much, it'll take a lifetime to explain all the ways you affect my mind. All I can say is that's why I love you too. Honey, that's why I love you. I'm gonna be with you. All gonna get down. Ooh-wee. Sure enough, man. You say you like kissing because it's mellow. Don't mind being out among the fellas. And woman, with your kind of personality, that's all a man needs to be happy. And baby, that's why I love you. I'm gonna love you too. Girl, that's why I love you. I'm gonna be with you. Oh, play again. Sounds alright now. Ooh-wee. Can we do it again? You belong to me in many, many ways. And I'm gonna treasure your love for the rest of my days. And if you ever need a little company, you know you can always depend on me. Because that's why I love you. I'm gonna love you too. Honey, that's why I love you. I'm gonna be with you. Baby, that's why I love you. Woman, that's why I love you. I'm gonna be with you. Oh, baby, that's right. Ooh-wee now. All right. Baby, that's why I love you. Oh yeah, yeah. That's why I love you. Don't mind saying that's why I love you, baby. Oh, honey, that's why I love you. Oh, that's why I love you, baby. That's why. Girl, that's why I love you, baby. Honey, that's why. Oh, that's why I love you.
You're listening to 91.7 WLFR Pomona at the Richard Stockton University. This is Mark Grossman. I am your host, and you've been listening to another eclectic journey. That about does it for today's eclectic journey. And that was Teddy. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Again, playing was beautiful, and to play and record with King Floyd. You must have been in cloud nine.
Oh yeah. I was like on cloud 12.
I'll bet.
I mean, he was a very good writer too, and he would you see, he had me strike up grooves. I would make up grooves, and he would write with my groove, put his lyrics to what I'm playing. Very nice person. Very nice person. I can't say anything bad about anybody that I've played with and recorded with.
Sure. Sure. You know what? There's something to be said for that.
Oh, yeah.
And Teddy, I want to thank you so very much
thank you
for being on today's Eclectic Journey. This was a thrill.
And I want to say, if anybody, well, I know it was a lot of people worldwide listening to my music. If you want to get in touch with me, and my email is Theodore.smallr48 @gmail.com. If you want to reach me, I would love to do festivals and shows. So if there's anyone listening to what I've just said, please get in contact with me.
And you're also on Facebook.
And I'm also on Facebook, yes.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A true legend. A phenomenal, magnificent guitar player. And he has been places and done things and seen things and played with music with people that you and I and the rest of the world only can dream about. And Teddy, as I said, this was an honor, an absolute pleasure, thrill of a lifetime. The stories that you have told today, they are priceless. As I said again, I keep saying that. I don't mean to be a dead horse, but they are priceless. You can't.
What I want to say also too is, I want to thank you, Mr. Mark Grossman, for having me.
You're welcome.
I mean, it was out of sight, man. I enjoyed today.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you enjoyed today because I did too. As a matter of fact, I dug every minute of this. It's been a gas, as James Coburn maybe used to say back in the day. But
I thank God for having me here.
Yes.
I give him all the praise and glory.
And, you being here with me on my program today, it's like I said, it's not a coincidence. You know, things are meant to happen. And you and I shall remain good, great friends. And we will keep in touch. We're going to try to see it possibly if we can do some things to get get your name out there in this area. So, like I said, you've got a great support system here at WLFR. I mean, you're like the other, like musicians in New Orleans, they're considered demigods there. As a good friend of mine would say, well, you're one of those demigods.
Thank you.
I mean that, and I'm not just making that up. I mean,
thank you.
Your life is incredible.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You deserve every minute of the every adulation, every all kudos to you.
Thank you.
You've earned it.
Thank you.
And I want to thank by the way, before I forget, folks, I want to thank Bruce tomorrow, because without him, today's program more than likely would not have taken place. I would have not been introduced to Teddy Royal or have the chance to meet him. But because of Bruce, I did meet Teddy Royal. I talked to him. I booked him on this program. So Bruce, tomorrow, this program is also not only dedicated to Teddy Royal, but it's dedicated to you. And I give you the biggest thank you in the whole wide world for introducing me to this magnificent guitar playing man who is a beautiful person inside.
And I'd like to dedicate this to Gudrun Francina, my manager.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
And Fats Domino.
And Fats Domino. Yeah. All right, folks. It's almost 5:57. David Pakman Show is on next, following The Eclectic Journey at 6 o'clock p.m., so stay tuned for that. At 7 o'clock p.m., the great Paul Glazer will be on the air tonight with his great Chicken Bone Beach Jazz Show, so stay tuned for that also. And then tonight, midnight, Bob Portella is in with his always great Christmas chaos/transmission show. So don't forget that. Stay tuned for that also. And I will see you next week, next Wednesday, 3 o'clock p.m. for another Eclectic Journey. I will have Mason Porter on as my special guest. You don't want to miss that. They have been on the show. They were on my show a little over a year ago. Let's see. Looking forward, Jerry Mingori will be on this program the following week, Wednesday, July 13th. July 20th is open. I don't know what I'm going to do then for that show. July 27th, Andrea Superstein. You do not want to miss this. She is a Juno Award winner. It is Canada's equivalent of the Grammy, but that's not the only reason why you should listen to this brilliant young artist. She is changing the paradigm, so to speak, and you don't want to miss this. So that's Andrea Superstein, booked for Wednesday, July 27th on this program. Okay, and I want to thank, again, I thank Bruce Tomorrow so very much. Teddy, I thank you once again.
Thank you.
And we will keep in touch, and God bless. Take care.
God bless.
And that's it for me. And thank you, Bill Gross, for another outstanding producing job for this program. Let's see. Anything else I forgot? And thank you, audience, if you were listening. I hope you were listening, because a guest like Teddy Royal only comes around on this program so often. So I was just so lucky and thrilled and fortunate to have him on my show today. And again, thank you, Teddy. And okay, so that's enough of me. I'll stop talking. And David Pakman's show is up next. Take care, drive safe. I will see you next week. Drink plenty of fluids. It's hot. It's summertime. Goodbye.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.